want to talk about tonight why you have cravings, what cravings mean, and what you can do about the cravings. So the definition of a craving is a powerful desire for something. Okay? Back in the day when cravings ruled my life, my husband and I, after a long day of work, we'd be sitting on the couch watching TV, and I'd have a Ben & Jerry's ice cream craving. I don't know if anybody else has those type of cravings. Maybe you guys have, you like your dark chocolate, or you like your M&Ms, or you like your pretzels, or you like your corn chips, or whatever it is. There's a reason why you're having those cravings. Okay? It's actually a protective function for your body. For example, if you're going through pregnancy and you're having cravings for certain foods, it may mean that the baby is deficient in certain nutrients. Okay. When I was pregnant, I had intense cravings for grapefruit. Totally weird, right? And grapefruit is very high in what? Acid, but also vitamin C. Vitamin C. So it's very high in vitamin C. So you need vitamin C for collagen. Collagen makes bone. Collagen makes cartilage. Cartilage makes a lot of different things that, of course, a baby would need. Vitamin C is very important in a lot of roles in the body, in the way that the body functions. Okay? So we're going to go over the cravings and what they mean. So the number one craving, according to research that I did, is chocolate. And that's why I made you guys chocolate brownies. Okay? And you'll have those tonight. And a lot of the recipes I gave you today are all chocolate based. Okay, but we're going to talk about how that works. So chocolate, if you're craving chocolate, you may be low in magnesium or iron. A lot of women around their periods or during their periods, because you're losing blood, so not to get gross, but just to talk about the physiology of it, you're losing blood, you might get low in iron, especially if you have heavier cycles. That's why a lot of times your appetite increases and you may have those intense chocolate cravings. Anybody ever experienced that? Right? Okay, good. The food fix, so the food fixes I'm giving you are all healthy food fixes, okay? This is called cacao powder. It's different than cocoa powder. Cacao powder comes from the cacao bean. Cacao beans is what they make chocolate from. So cacao powder is ground up cacao beans, and this is actually an antioxidant. It's very high in magnesium, okay? It's really good for you. And so you can put cacao powder in any recipe that requires chocolate. Now, since this is pure chocolate without the sugar, what does it taste like? Yeah. It's bitter, okay? So cacao is C-A-C-A with an O on the end. Okay, you can get this at any kind of health food store. Okay, so you have cacao powder. When they take the cacao beans, they can make little nibs, and those little nibs can be replaced for chocolate chips. And then we have dark chocolate. So if you're going to do the chocolate, prefer dark chocolate. It has more antioxidants in it, and because it's dark and it has a higher percentage, it has less sugar. Ice cream. So we talked about the Ben & Jerry's. Some of you may have ice cream cravings from time to time. You could be low in calcium if you're craving ice cream. Okay? When people think about calcium, what's the number one food you think of? Milk. Milk, right? Because the milk industry or the dairy industry did a really good job educating on if you need calcium for strong bones, you drink milk, right? Remember the Got Milk campaign with the white milk mustaches? Okay. Milk is, cow's milk is made from a cow, and the purpose of it is to feed a cow, okay? So a baby cow, does anybody know how much weight a baby cow gains their first year? Nope. Okay, hundreds of pounds. Okay, so if you're a human and you're drinking cow's milk, I'm not saying you're gonna gain hundreds of pounds, but it's meant to put weight on a baby cow. It's meant to nurture a baby cow. And baby cows grow fast, okay? All right, we don't always have the enzymes needed to break down cow's milk. So oftentimes you'll find people get congestion, they may get headaches, they may get dark circles under their eyes, and they may be due to dairy sensitivities. Dark leafy greens have more calcium than milk. Okay, does the dairy industry want you to know that? No, because then you won't drink milk or cheese or yogurt and stuff like that. So dark leafy greens like kale, spinach, if you eat broccoli, that has more calcium in it per serving than milk or dairy products. Now my mom, when I was younger, used to eat sardines out of a can. Anybody like sardines from a can, or their mom used to do that? Yeah, okay, so sardines are really healthy for you.
With mustard sauce.
With mustard sauce, that's right. To me, they're kind of disgusting, especially the little bones. But those little bones have lots of calcium in them, right? And you just chew them up, and it says just chew them up and they're gone. So if you want to do it that way, you can do it that way. I prefer the dark leafy greens. Donuts and cookies. If you're craving donuts and cookies, you may be low in fats. Now back in the 80s, everybody was against fats, right? Fats are bad, let's eat fat-free, let's do that. Well, how do they get the fat out of the food? They processed it. And what did they put it in instead of having the fat content? Sugar. Okay. So remember some of those snack foods, like the snack wells, the little chocolate things? I could eat a whole box of those back in the day. And I still felt hungry. I could eat a whole other box. Why? Because fat is satisfying. We actually need fat to burn, to make energy. You burn fat when you have carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, if you're exercising, when you start burning, when you're exercising, you're burning fat, you're burning carbohydrates. Okay? So carbohydrates get the fat to burn. Good sources of fats would be avocado, excellent. And in the 80s, they told us what? Avocado's fattening. You shouldn't eat avocado. I was wrong. Avocado is really, really, really good for you. It's oftentimes the first food that we'll suggest for babies. Really easy to digest, really a good food for infants, really good food for everyone. Okay, nuts and meats. One of the things that we could do to give you good fats is Nordic natural fish oils. So the Nordic natural line, not all fish oils are created equally. Some of my patients will be like, well, Dr. Palmer, I can go to Costco or BJ's or Sam Club and I can get this big old thing of fish oil for really cheap. Okay, well, what's the problem with that kind of fish oil?
Mercury.
That's right, they don't scan it for any impurities. The fish oil that we do, it's scanned and triple scanned and quadruple scanned by a third party to make sure there's no mercury in it. You don't want to be taking something to promote your health and then destroy your health. Okay? And then there's different types of fish oils. So again, you may hear, oh, take fish oil, it's good for your heart. But what if you're taking the wrong fish oil? There's fish oils that stimulate you, and there's fish oils that depress you. So if you're a depressed kind of person already, you're kind of blue, and you take a fish oil that depresses you or depresses your system, how are you going to feel? Depressed. And if you're kind of like a hyper person and you take a fish oil that's very stimulating, you're going to be like way too hyper. So what we do is we test to see what's your perfect type of fish oil, because there's different ranges, there's different types, there's different combinations. A lot of my older patients, when they first come in, they might be on cholesterol-lowering medications, and their doctors are like, oh, look at this, right? That cholesterol is like way, way low. I'm doing a good job. And they truly think that they are, and that's fine. But what's happening is your brain is made out of fat. Okay, so if you've ever been called a fathead, you can be like, yeah, that's right, I'm a fathead, right? Thank you, yeah. If you don't have enough cholesterol in your brain, it does not function very well. So that's what they say, sometimes they say with elderly, oh, they're just getting older. No, it has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with stress. It has nothing to do with any of that. The changes, no. It has to do with having enough of the good cholesterol, the good fat in your system. Chips. So if you're craving chips, you might be low in salt. Why? Because chips are really salty. Now there's good salt and there's bad salt. The good salt has minerals in it. Okay. The bad salt does not. Okay, by bad salt, I mean when you go to a restaurant, most restaurants, that iodized table salt, that's bad salt. That salt's been shown to raise blood pressure, to cause swelling. Okay, good salt has minerals in it. You need salt in order to cool the body down. I have a patient and he sweats profusely all the time, even if he's sitting in air conditioning. And the reason why is he was told a long time ago, cut all salt out of your diet. And so that's what he did. He was laying on my table like covered in sweat. I'm like, oh my goodness. I started testing him. He tested for 12 sea salt tablets. That's a lot of salt. That means that man is very, very low in salt and the minerals of salt. When we started getting a little bit of the good salt in his body, and also his face was like beet red all the time. As we started to get some good salt in his body, he stopped sweating so much. Like, you're supposed to sweat when it's hot out. You're not supposed to sweat in air conditioning. Okay? And his beet red face started to get lower. Yeah, sodas, sweet tea, coffee drinks. So if you're craving soda, if you have your Coca-Cola fix or your Dr. Pepper fix, or maybe you're a Mountain Dew kind of person, your sweet tea or your coffee drinks. So I'm not just talking about hot coffee. I'm talking about you go through the Starbucks line and you get your caramel macchiato, frappuccino, you get one of those. Yeah, okay? So you're probably dehydrated. A lot of majority of the population is dehydrated. how to satisfy your cravings the healthy way. So again, this stuff, love it. Really, really good. You can make a chocolate banana smoothie with it. You can make the raw brownies with it. You can make what we call chocolate squares. Sometimes if I want chocolate, I'll actually take a spoonful of this and almond butter. Anybody like Reese's Pieces or Reese's peanut butter cups? Kind of reminds me of that. So it's a quick snack, it's healthy, and it fixes that chocolate craving. And if you're having the chocolate craving, you're probably missing what? Magnesium. So it gets a little bit of magnesium in you. Magnesium is one of those nutrients that is, again, very deficient in our society. Ice cream, you can take this and you can take bananas and you freeze them. But before you freeze them, make sure you peel them, because to peel a frozen banana with the skin on is really hard. So you freeze the peeled banana and then you stick it in a high-powered blender with this, and it tastes like you're eating chocolate ice cream. All right, so other tips, if you feel like you're having cravings, sometimes you might just be lonely, so you can call a friend. You can walk outside, you can exercise, you can drink water, you can make a smoothie, make herbal tea, play music and dance. You can check your email, and that'll take up a lot of time, right? You can watch a funny clip or show, walk your dog, organize an area of your house. Doesn't that sound like fun?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Have a healthy version of what you want, and then stop procrastinating. And then the little smiley face is if you're having severe cravings, it may be that you're doing low in certain nutrients, and you can come see us and we can figure out what that is for you.